So are we live now? Okay. So should we start or तो वो दे दो PPT दे दो मुझे डिस्प्ले. Good morning, everybody. So welcome to this webinar of Grow Your Business with LED UV. So we are hosting this webinar on multiple channels, APL website, we are live on the Facebook, we are live on the YouTube, and we are live on the StreamYard. On the 4 platforms, we are doing this a live program of this webinar of LED UV. So we are really excited about this, and today we have very good speakers with us, Mr. Sangam Khanna, Dr. Raghav, Mr. Vijay Lakha, so Mehul ji. So there are so many speakers today. So can I have PPT, Abhishek? Yeah, so this is a list of speakers today. Let me introduce with all those speakers. Myself, CP Paul, Abhishek. Abhishek is very well, well expert in LED UV technology. He got training in USA 2 times for 6 months, for especially on the LED UV. Mr. Sangam Khanna, there is nobody on this planet, on this India, who don't know Sangam Khanna ji, because he is the authority in sheet fed printing. So he is heading Komori India, and ex-army man. A lot of praise for Mr. Sangam Khanna. Dr. J.K. Raghav is a very well known to the industry, heading SIG work, master in PhD in chemistry. Mr. Vijay Lakha, he was the first user in the country for LED UV in packaging. Mr. Mehul Mishra, Mehdi Prints, so he is doing commercial printing as well as hospitals and PVC files. Mr. Dhananjay Godse, Kashika Printers. So he has won recently award in PAMEX for best printing in LED. So he is also a speaker today. So we welcome you all here on this webinar of LED UV. So let us start with this PowerPoint presentation. Abhishek, I am not seeing this. Please bear with us for this technical hitch, because these webinars, these live workshops, so this is not our, expertise. So we are very good on the stage, but somehow, these webinars we are doing, this is the first webinar on the public front we are doing. So please bear with us for some small technical hitches. Abhishek, may I have the presentation, please? Okay, meanwhile, when we are doing this presentation live, or it's on the screen, so let me discuss about the corona. So this is also a slide which we cannot see here. So as we know that India is, fighting against corona, and we all as a businessman or as a human being are fighting against corona. So I was discussing this point with my mentor, Mr. Samir Kamboj, and he taught us few things. First, this corona has given us an opportunity. So our life was going so fast that even we cannot see that how can we think about our new business, how can we, think about the new innovations, how can we, put time on the upcoming developments. So now this is a pause button in our life. So we have to sit and think that what new businesses we can add on in our stream, what things we have to delete from our businesses. We have to find out that what products are not giving us a profit just in our kitty, and just we are doing just because for the sake of doing, because we are doing from past so many months or so many years. So we have to think, we have to redefine our business strategies. So maybe there are some opportunities in this coronaviruses. Like few of our printers has, they thought about this particular point that we have to run our press only 8 hours, because now there will be a scarcity of labor in future. It may be, it may not be. It depends on business to business, place to place, and industry to industry. But it may be a scarcity of labor in future. So I was having some conversation with very good printers of the country. They said, so we have planned ourselves for the next 6 months that we will run our presses for 8 hours in a day, and we will focus only on those products which can give us more profit, like plastic printing, like hospital files, or like the printing which can give us little more profit rather than the commercial printing. So this corona has given us time to think that how we will grow our business in future. So this was also in my mind that if we can offer something to our fellow countrymen or our printers brothers, so it will be helpful to the industry. So that is the reason why we are launching this webinar today and helping our printers that how can they grow their business in this time. Next, please. Abhishek, next slide, please. नहीं आ रहा. So, as I told you that there are some hitches, some technical issues about because me and Abhishek both are doing from the different areas, so it may be taking a little more time. I'm not able to share my screen on the net, but give us few seconds to resolve this issue. So, just a minute. और मुझे अपना सिस्टम याद दे दो अगर दिक्कत है तो. अच्छा, ठीक है. So we are really sorry for this technical hitch, because Abhishek is playing his screen from other source and I am speaking on the other source. So there is a cross-linking problem. So anyway, so we can talk for the few minutes until unless we don't resolve this issue. So we were talking about the corona. So I was thinking personally, I can take my example personally, that how we were thinking for this period and how can we go further with our industry. So we thought that we may launch our new products and we may add on few products which will help to the industry, as we are launching some disinfection UV systems. So we will discuss on this later because now we are on with the slide. So let me come back to our main agenda of our today's presentation. So as we know that LED UV is the extended family of UV. So let's quick recap on UV curing. What is UV curing? So UV curing is a process of solidification of ink or coatings by means of photochemical process, also known as cross-linking. In this process, inks and varnishes containing photoinitiators gets converted into a free radical by the help of UV energy, and these free radicals attempt to bond with the additives with the chemical systems and starts to solidify. The process of this solidification of ink and chemical is known as UV curing. So we have Dr. Raghav today. He's a doctor, he's expert in chemistry. He will give you a little more focus onto this technology. Next slide, please. So let's see this typical UV lamp. So how this lamp work and what emissions we get from the UV lamp. So if we see this image, if we keep in our mind till end of this presentation or for last long, so this will help us to understand UV as well as LED UV. If we see in depth that the lamp we have given the heat degree. 6,000 degree is the inside temperature of the lamp. 900 degrees centigrade is the outer temperature of the lamp. Just imagine 6,000 degrees centigrade, which is a beyond, imagination. 900 degrees centigrade is enough to melt a steel. So these lamps, the conventional UV lamps, produce such a good heat. As well as if you see the below diagram, so we got UVA, we got UVB, we got UVC. Apart from this, we have got the visible lights, infrared, and the other parts. But our theme, because in one UV lamp, we are having so many vast parameters, but we require only this blue part of UV. Rest all are bullshit for printing. Rest all is not required, but this is by default coming from a UV lamp. That is the reason why the whole industry, the whole world is shifting to the LED UV. Next slide, please. This is a spectrum of UV curing. So we can see this is a 300 degree. This 300 nanometer is the area where we work. This is UVC. UVC is typically from 200 to basically 280. UVB is 280 to 320. And UVA is 320 to 390. As well as UVV is up to 450 nanometer. This is a spectrum which we get from a UV lamp. What we require in printing is for the curing is UVA more, because that is where the photoinitiator get initiated. Next slide, please. So how does conventional UV inks and coating cure? As I told you that UVC has a very short wavelength. UVB go a little more into penetrations. It's a medium wavelength. UVA is a longer wavelength. And UVV is a far longer wavelength, which go deep into the surface and cure the inks, coatings, adhesive, whatever. It's basically a cross-linking between photoinitiator and UV light. Next. Next, please. So, because today's webinar is on LED UV, so here I call Abhishek, who is expert into LED UV. He got training in USA 6 months one time, and another time he went to Brazil, he went to Europe for training of this LED UV. So he has in-depth knowledge of LED UV. So today he will give you a presentation on LED UV. I welcome Abhishek here. Welcome, Abhishek.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So this is our first time we are going live on YouTube and Facebook. So usually I am more of a stage person, and this is the first time I'm doing a webinar. And I'm at a very high webinar. So I'm Abhishek. I'm looking after LED UV market of India, and since the time I've joined business, I've been saying and thinking only about LED. So let's start with LED UV. So actually, like you saw in UV, we were talking about the bulb. In UV, there's a bulb tube kind of structure. If you see on your phone, there's a tip on the back. So these things are LEDs, and multiple LEDs from LED UV lamp. So what are the components of LED UV system? When we talk about LED, so one is we have a UV lamp, we have a UV power supply, which drives the LED, which gives power to the lamp. We have a UV control cabinet, which controls the whole system, that how it's functioning, when it's on, when it is off. We have UV temperature and the water flow of the LED lamp. We have press mount, where we have the brackets. If it is an offset press, it's a Komori, it's a Heidelberg, it's a KPA, it's a brand new machine, it's a old new machine. So every machine needs special mounting where we have to fit in the LEDs. And one what we have is water manifold. This is a very key component of LED UV system. It's the heart for the LED UV. Uh, Here we control how the water goes in and water goes out. It keeps the LED safe. Basically, it's like a you can also call it as a safekeeper, because if anything happens to the water, it switches off the LED and keeps the diode safe and stops it from burning up. So
Yeah.
what is a LED UV lamp? Like I told you, LED UV lamp is an array of lights, and there are multiple diodes in this, and this the whole system formed together is called a LED UV lamp. The LED UV lamp has power from 2 watts per centimeter square, goes up to 40 watts per centimeter square. So as soon as you go far away from the distance, so the lamp intensity goes down. We can customize the lamp. So every lamp when we choose needs to have a specific wavelength. So according to the wavelength, we decide what ink to use, or according to the ink, we decide what lamps to use. So accordingly, we have different wavelengths. We have 365 nanometer, 395 nanometer, 405. The good part about LED is you can get anything. You're not limited to what wavelengths you want. If you want whites, you can go higher, 405. There are some companies where we did trials where we had to go at a wavelength of 0.05 nanometers, because white intensity was high, and the light needs to penetrate inside, deep inside to play. So accordingly, you can play. We can also blend in more lamps. So if you want 365, 385, 395, when you blend all these lamps, if you want to decrease the cost of the ink, increase the intensity, or where the lamp is not so high power, you can blend in more lamps to get more speed, more curing. And also, when you go for multi wavelengths of lamp, you can also target more and more of your jobs. So that is very important. And this way it helps you. So why LED UV? So LED UV, the basic benefit is it's huge power saving. It's LED. Okay, definitely it has to be power saving. So yes, when we talk about LED, it's huge power saving. We will see that in next slides, that how it happens. So it's eco-friendly. Technology, LED is eco-friendly, but in comparison of normal lighting to UV's process, LED is much eco-friendlier than UV, and it goes very in terms of low carbon content. LED UV has no heat. LED UV gives bigger benefits in terms when there is no heat. We'll discuss it in the next slides. We have instant on, instant off. We have life is 30,000 hours. We have higher gloss levels. So these are the advantages of LED UV. Power saving is huge. In offline UV machine, if you're talking about a gravure press, in an offline UV machine, if the web width is 1 meter, we need to have a machine offline. But if we put it inline, we can do LED UV at inline printing process. UV you cannot do. UV why you cannot do? Because there is a lot of heat. You have tendency of catching fire. But in LED UV, you don't have that. You can run at lower power, about 20 kilowatts, which is less than half of the lamp, and then you don't need a separate machine. You don't need separate space. So that is a big advantage. You can do all inline process. You can do registered coating. You can do spot coating. All these benefits you get when you go for a LED UV system. So if you talk about in a 6-color coater press, we need 6 lamps there, or 7 lamps, or 5 lamps. Here you can just do it with 2 or 3 lamps max, and the power difference is huge. Like it's huge. If you talk about a flexo press, like we talk about a 13-inch press, from where in 13-inch press you need at least 60 kilowatts, and I'm still not talking about the capacity of air chillers you need, ACs you need in your press to run the press, because UV creates a lot of heat. And in LED, you don't need more ACs. Whatever ACs need for the press, that's okay. And still, you are running at 22 conventional UV, and it's about 1/3 of the saving. Except all of direct saving in this machine, your UV machine, whenever it's running, in a case of a offset press, it's always 25 to 45% extra. Though your lamp intensity goes down, but it's still running. And is not running, LED is still UV still gonna run, but LED will be off. So that's one of the biggest advantage in power saving. LED ozone, and it's not harmful, and the gas emission is very low. You produces carbon content in huge amount, and that's a big problem. A lot of pollution boards are now considering this, and especially in market areas, if your presses are in market areas, and if your presses are in the in areas like places like Ahmedabad and Mumbai, people are coming and checking these things, because the carbon content before Corona was very high, and it might go again when everything gets normal. So lamp disposable is also a big problem for environment. So if you are in Europe, you need to pay 1/4 of the cost of lamp when you dispose it off. First, you pay to buy it, and then you pay to dispose it. If you don't dispose it well, you might get a line, or you might get a fine done. But in India, especially in cities like Mumbai, again you need to pay. The amount is around, I think, 350 to 500 bucks, but you still need to pay to dispose of the lamp. That's again a huge cost, and you cannot throw it away like that. If you throw it away, first it's a problem in environment and places where it's regularized, where there are regulations on these things. You need, if you get caught, you need to pay fine. So that's a big problem. There is no heat. LED is a drying system. UV is a drying system. Both the systems just the main thing they do is just dry the ink. But what changes the whole game? What gives you power in your press to do those things is that no heat. You're running on LED UV, there's no heat. Heat means a lot of things. That first of all, you can print any substrate. There are limitations. One of our printers is doing that. He will share a success story later. That you can print any PET, PVC, thinnest PP. One guy I know in Delhi was printing around 60 microns of film in a press, and offset press with LED UV. It was not possible with the IR. It was not possible with UV. You cannot run powder. You cannot dry it otherwise. It was only possible with LED. There's no risk of fire. So you have a safe mind here. You know that it's okay. And the bad part about UV is when there were a lot of Chinese systems being dumped into India, there was a lot of fire cases. When the presses were not integrated properly, or something happened, or some missignal happened, there's always a risk of fire. But in case of LED UV, there is no risk. LED UV is complete. Now, the main thing is machine life depletes in the case of UV lamps. I think Sangam sir, he's one of the speakers. He can tell what are the effects of UV which are happening on the machine. In cases where the machines are not UV ready, there are a lot of printers who want to convert the older machines into UV. There is a lot of problems which are being faced in. Hello. Okay. Sorry, there is a glitch. I need to just relocate.
Wi-Fi. Okay, perfect now. Abhishek, go ahead. It's okay now. So because we are getting on the YouTube and the Facebook that there are some issues.
Sorry, I don't know. We are talking about a lot of technology, but we are facing a lot of glitches in terms of Wi-Fi. Sorry about that. So we were talking about the risk of fire. So the yeah, there is a lot of thing which happens on the press, and a lot of things which happens. Machine life deplete. Machine life depletes in case of UV lamps. When we are using UV lamps, there are a lot of problems. You need to change the gripper bars. The machine life goes down. You can see when you're buying a second-hand press from a Germany or from USA. When it comes to India, you can buy it lesser than the price of a brand new press without UV. So that is the big problem. You can print thinner materials, and you can print if you are especially you're doing flexo. People are gone down from 20 microns to 10 microns, and on higher speeds. So that are the bigger advantages what we get. The biggest thing what comes without heat is you get higher gloss levels. See, if you are doing, I'll say 3 GSM coating, either on a flexo or on an offset, and the job is same, the material is same, everything is same. But as soon as you switch on from UV to LED, and the heat goes off completely, you get very high gloss levels. The main reason is that there is no IR, and at the time of curing, when IR hits the curing process, it damages the process, and the gloss goes down. And as soon as you go on completely heat-free process, your gloss level goes high. Maybe you get up 7 to 8 points higher gloss levels in that process. So life of lamp is 30,000 hours. That's the biggest thing. You get a consistent curing throughout your life. Intensity drop is not at all. You know, since the time you are installing LED and since the time it's running, you don't need to worry about curing because the energy output of the lamp is constant. Life of lamp in UV is 1,000 hours, but LED is 30,000 hours. So after 800 hours, you see a depletion in the energy of curve. So the machine speeds goes down. Plus, imagine in a six color photo, you need to change 6 lamps, right? And one lamp of life of one lamp is 1,000 hours. So 30 lamps plus you need to change per system. So it's 30 into 6. It's more than 180 lamps you need to change. So that's a big saving. What we can do in UV LED. There's no downtime in the machine. In UV, whatever press it is, you need time to take out the lamp, change the bulb. Until that time, you're not producing anything. Right now, I say the most expensive thing in the world is time, and time is money. So if you're not saving time, you're losing it, either in terms of production or either in terms of non-productivity saving. So there's no downtime in machine, and that's the biggest advantage that you can have. Um, when you calculate that cost of production is very high. So the limitations in UV technology, what are the limitations actually in LED UV technology? The only limitation what we feel right now and what we are experiencing is the cost of the consumable, especially the coating, gloss coating. It's very high, and that is the biggest hurt people are seeing it right now because gloss coating is being consumed a lot. And the other disadvantage is we see that there's a lot of there's less awareness about how the LED UV process works. There are many advantages which people are not aware about. That's why our goal is to consistently talk about it and people know about it so that they can upgrade the technologies into LED UV and avail that benefits, avail that privilege of being able to do things with that ease, what they are not able to do right now. So let's talk about cost comparison of investment. So when we talk about like LED UV, converting the whole press into LED UV, I'll tell you it's much cheaper than doing it into a conventional UV press now. Conventional UV needs more lamps, and conventional UV needs more things except lamps. So when we talk about the whole capex cost, LED UV is cheaper now because we are like we APL, we are manufacturing products in India, and the cost of the product is down. But still, if you compare even our cost with our UV system and LED UV system, our LED systems full conversion cost would be lesser than the full conversion cost of an offset press. Either it's a 5 color coater or a 6 color coater or a 5 color or a 4 color. The cost of LED will be always less. I've actually seen people doing conversions in a 1520 press low pile where they have never thought about doing it. They had to buy a new press to do that. So those are the advantages you get in UV LED. So why LED UV for offset? Mostly people are here for offset. Let's talk about it. So the best part is you can achieve the top speed consistently throughout your life without even worrying about what speed it will go down, it will go up. You can do that at maximum press speed. So if your press is about, most of the presses are 18,000 sheets per hour. So you can run at your top press speed without worrying about anything. You have instant and consistent drying, even up to 400% of ink coverage without any hitch, because the intensity of a UV LED lamp is so high that it penetrates in the deepest of the ink. That's why you can achieve the 400% full ink coverage, which in case of UV, you needed to have a UV lamp after 2 units. So now in LED, you can do that CMYK with one just LED, with just one lamp. That's the beauty of it. So we discussed about it. Without heat, you can do substrates like PP, thin PVC without damaging the substrate. So I would like Mr. Mehul, when he comes into picture, let him speak about it, because what I saw from my eyes when I was there at his press, that he was able to print PP in many things. And the best advantage he had was that he does not charge us very high for printing, but he charges high for the substrate. So the quality of the substrate, the ink depends on how your substrate is. But when you have a lot of heat, so your substrate quality goes down. But in case of LED, when there is no heat, the substrate quality is amazing. So the result is, I can say, I'm not being very technical in ink side, but from a visual point of view, the print quality of an offset print with LED on a PP or a PVC is equivalent to the print quality of PP and PVC printed out from digital press. So that is the advantage. This is people used to think, okay, digital will come, digital will come. Of course, digital will come in some time, but LED gives you a chance to push it a bit further. Still, you can with your existing presses run and go with more substrates, and go more variable colors, more vibrant colors, beautiful effects at that cost. And then you can have your customer, you can have that privilege of your customer to be start working with you with more substrates and more higher values. The other advantage is there's no warm up time and cool down time. So in UV it takes 3 minutes to warm up, 3 minutes to cool down. So 6 minutes of your time is wasted. And if you do about 6 restarts, you can imagine you have lost about 36 minutes in one day just for warm up and cool down. So that's a big advantage. Energy saving is up to 80%. I've shown you in the earlier graph that how it works. There are people who are running 5 color machine, but if they go for UV, they need 4 lamps. In LED, they need 2 lamps. Still, the power saving is really high. There's no mercury. There is no ozone. You are working in a cleaner environment. People inside some of our printers have marketed this thing that we have eco-friendly printing technology, because it's more UV is more safer than conventional ink, because no powder, nothing. And then LED UV is much more safer. So people love to do that. They get jobs because of that. The best part is it installs in one day. That's the beauty. In UV, a lot of people who are using UV might have experienced that nothing happens in less than 3 to 5 days. And sometimes our engineers needs to stay there for a week when we install UV systems. And but in LED, we usually do it. If we get the full press, we do it in one day. So that's the beauty of LED. It can be retrofitted in any press. Like I told you earlier, that people are running People want to install LED UV in a 15-20 low pile machine, and we are able to do that just because of one lamp going inside. There is no problem. There is no heat. Nothing is happening to the machine. That is the beauty. If there is one printer coming in, Mr. Dhananjay will tell you he has a 5-color Komori L526. There was no space. There was very less space. But because of LED, he was able to fit it. UV, that was not possible in that machine. He did not have a space for extended delivery. If he had to do that, the other expenses would be having much more than the cost of LED. He had to buy new machines. So we were able to do that. And that's the beauty of LED. You can have it in any press. The ROI is less than in about 6 to 12 months. If you are getting UV jobs regularly, you can, do it. I'll tell Mr. Vijay to explain about it, and he can explain much better that how it works. So let's take an example. If we talk about LED UV and UV in a packaging job considering 6-color quota conversion, LED UV need max 2 to 3 lamps, but UV needs 6 lamps. So there is a lot of difference in that. LED, there is no heat. UV, there is huge amount of heat. And with heat, what all come we have discussed. Yeah, this is the biggest thing we have not noticed, that LED UV has no odor. If there is a printing, you take a paper, you smell it, there is no odor. In UV, you enter a press. Okay, you come to know that because of smell, my UV press is running there. So that is the biggest difference you see. You can do any kinds of substrates, from thinnest of the all heat sensitive materials. You can do, you know, MedPet. If you are even having a LED on a 4-color press, you can do 3 passes, 4 passes, no problem. In case of UV, when it's passing so many lamps, your sheet tends to curl because you're doing wet lamination. You cannot, in India, you cannot afford thermal lamination in terms of MedPet lamination. Because of wet lamination, the sheet curls, and then you have registration problems in second and third run. LED, even if you're doing it on a 2-color, you don't have any problems because there is no shrinkage or nothing happening on the board. It's constant, and the sheet comes out straight. So that is the biggest benefit you have. Then you have huge power consumption. I'm sorry about this. LED has less power consumption and UV has huge power consumption. That's a mistake happened. So LED has very less power consumption, that what we have seen earlier, and UV has higher power consumption. LED has more vibrant colors, and in UV, we have very good colors, but shade changes a bit because of heat. Even if you go for a cool UV system, you will see a much difference. And as soon as you go for a LED UV system, you see more vibrant colors. And the best part is, without releasing more of the ink, you can go for higher density result outputs. There is no heat, there is no changes on the substrate, there is nothing happening on the ink and water level balance. So it's much more easier that you can release less water, less smudge, less color, and higher output. That's why I say that it's the quality of the print is equivalent to the quality output of the digital printout. It can fit into any press. There in UV, you have limitations. Mostly in smaller presses and older presses where people want to start the business, but they don't have such big machines. We need to install conveyor systems, but sometimes people don't have space. There are a lot of limitations. The good thing about LED is it can. I've seen almost all of the presses. I've hardly said no to any press where we can't fit LED. Maybe in seeing 500 machines, I have seen only 1 or 2 machines where we can't fit. Usually, all of the machines you can fit LED, but in UV you cannot. UV it's hard. UV, there are a lot of lamps, there are ducts, blowers, pipes, everything. The cassette size are huge, and again, you don't need 1 lamp. You need 2 to 3 lamps to run the process. Okay, so you have consistent curing throughout your life. Hair curing decreases after 800 hours. So again, you need to see the intensity. Sometimes you have job wastage, and sometimes or otherwise you need to go speed down. So those are the things you need to see. In LED UV, you don't need practically any maintenance guy. All your guy operator needs to do is just see the water inside the chiller, it's fresh or not. That's it. That's all. Nothing else you need to see. But in UV, you need to have a guy who knows, okay, how is the blower working, how you need to change the lamp, how you need to fix the wire, and all that stuff you need to do. So you need a technical guy, or you need to train the guy, or your guy sometimes, if your customer is big or huge, or you need to have a guy from the UV supplier, system supplier to come again and again sometimes to train you if your guys are changing. LED, it's nothing. It's so easy that you just see it once, and even any new guy comes in, you can tell him in 2 minutes, okay, this is how the things operate. And you it's difficult. So let's see how the LED graph is growing. So earlier in 2005, there were about 2 to 3 systems, or maybe 4 systems max. In 2016, there were about 8 systems, and 2017 it has grown up to 25 or 28. This is all installations of all the suppliers which have happened in India. 2018 it went up to 100. 2019 it went up to 250, and now because of lockdown, we were expecting higher numbers this year, but because of this Corona thing and COVID, everyone knows how the situation is going. So it has just still increased about only 50 printers. But you see how the graph is changing, how the acceptability is increasing, how people are going faster and faster on LED UV technology, and this is how all LED UV suppliers are aggressive in market, and people also want to go for a new technology. Like if you are buying a new phone right now, you'll buy the latest iPhone, or you buy the latest Samsung phone, or you buy the latest OnePlus. Um, so this is how people feel now. They want to go for the latest technology. I'm talking to people. They said, okay, I don't. Some people say I don't care about the cost of the chemical, but eventually it has to come down. Then I don't want to reinvest again. I want to invest now and better and have that privilege later on. So let's talk about, now we have talked a lot about LED, and now why we should go for a APL LED system. We have intensity levels up to 40 watts per centimeter square. We can make multi-wave UV, LED UV according to any ink supplier thing. We can control LED UV system at 54 of each chip level. So if your lamp is for 1 meter and you're running a job of 20 by 30 inch, so you can control 30-inch LED. You can just run 30-inch LED and switch off the rest of them. Again, you have huge power saving. You have saving in terms of the replacement cost. Usually, what happens when this does not happen, one chip goes, a lot of line gets wasted. You need to change a lot of diodes. What we do is we monitor current, voltage, and temperature of each LED, which keeps the LED the safest. If anything happens, printing stops, machine stops, LED stops, everything stops, but your system is in safe hands. Our system controls everything within it, so keep it at the maximum safest thing. And the biggest advantage is if one chip goes off, you just need to replace that chip. If in any other system this feature is not there, you need to change a lot of chips, because if one chip goes, it takes along maybe 5 6 chips with it, and the cost of LED chip right now is a bit higher. We have a lab with all kinds of LED UV, because LED UV cannot be serviced, or it cannot be replaced. A chip cannot be replaced at customer end. It has to be done in a lab, in a very dust-free environment lab, where you have to have all the equipment to do it. So we do that. But when we do that, if suppose there is a downtime in your LED, there is something happening in your LED, we give you a service cassette first. We have a backup plan that we give you. We install in your press, take away your system back, repair it properly, send it back to you, and then take back our service LED. So this is how we do, so that you have the minimum downtime possible. The main goal of LED is to reduce downtime, and we focus completely on that how to let that happen. First, by protecting our system 100%. Second, by giving you a service LED, so that even if anything happens, there is down that you have a service backup of LED to service your clients. So we can design special optics for special application. There are presses where the space is, it's an old press. It was not made by thinking of UV, but people want to install UV or LED UV in their press. So what we do in that case in LED UV is the distance is high, and still we need higher. So we need special optical lens or other optical solutions to increase that intensity so that we can still cure at, if even if we go higher, we can still cure. If we go for industrial applications, we have to go on higher distance because substrates are big. There we need these things, and we are doing that at a great level. We have optical engineers doing that, working on that day and night. We are launching a new product. This is the the highest peak anyone is touching right now is 50 watts per centimeter square. This would be made in India with one of the world's biggest UV LED chip supplier, and that's even the first for him and even the first for us. And we are going on a big thing on that, and that would be a big hit. And you can increase the speed levels in future. If we need it to increase in terms of intensity or wavelength, whatever we need to do, we just need to replace the chips. That is possible. All our systems are capable enough to have newer value additions to the LEDs. In case of other most of the systems, you need to throw out that system and put in the new system. But in case of LED UV, you can completely do that. You just need to replace the chips. Suppose you have a special new ink or you need a special new process to work on, you can blend in more wavelengths. You can probably increase higher intensity if you want to go into a higher press speed or something like that in future, because we're talking about 30,000 hours. Everything remains same. It's just that the chip changes. So we have experience of LED UV of 6 years. Uh, I joined business in about 2015. 2014 was my training period. Since then, APL brought LED UV into India, and so I've been working with LED since the time I'm in business, and we're seeing that. And the whole company has experience on LED UV for 6 years. We have installed more than 150 systems. I have stayed in AMS for about 6 months, and I've got training, and my engineers have been there, and we have that thing from AMS that they were the inventors. They have worked for about 12 years from now, and we have their experience and our experience clubbed together. We have experience of our own UV LED system, and so all this has been clubbed together, and that is why we have the right knowledge of how to handle the right process. Because sometimes it's not the problem of the ink supplier, it's not the problem of UV lamp supplier, but there are still issues. Those issues are the process issues. So we have everything laid down. Whenever you get a system, you get a full-fledged flow out that, okay, this is how you have to clean the press, this is how you have to do, and we teach you. Most of our engineers now, even electrical engineers and mechanical engineers, they know how to clean the press and how you have to change things. And they are very easy because they said that, okay, the process is very simple. So this is how we do. So these are the other industries where we are catering right now. We are catering into plastic industry. We have clients who are doing LED UV coatings on plastics. We have clients doing LED UV on wood industry. We are having clients who are printing, especially for decals and screen printing. We are doing a lot of LED systems where you need to do thinner substrates. Even on cloth, where UV used to burn the cloth, now LED can you can do screen printing with screen, and your LED dries perfectly fine without burning anything because there is no heat. Glue curing, if you have a phone and your glass which is sticked into your phone, it's cured with the LED UV curing glue now. So most of the phones are using LED glue to stick the screens. So that is the LED UV curing process. Digital printing. Digital printing, I now, everyone is there in market, and you have visited many exhibitions and everything. You might see that all the machines, all the flatbed digital printers are running on digital presses with LED UV. Either it is a flatbed or either it is sheet fed. Everyone wants to go for LED UV inks, and all are going for that. Outdoor signage is converting into LED UV machines. Tiles, the coatings and the printing is again UV LED. Metal industry is shifting into offset sheet fed offset of metal is going into LED industry. A lot of coating processes are going into LED industry because in metal the light reflects a lot. You need higher energy to penetrate. You have higher pigment of inks you need to use. You have higher UV disinfection. And then now we are also into UV disinfection systems. So now, because of Corona, uh, we have just started and opened up the market that UV LED and UVC and UV LED C can cure most of the H1N1 viruses, and we are working extensively on that. And these systems are helping right now. If you need a, if you need to, your material is coming into your press, you want to desanitize it, that the guy who's handling it is having corona, and if he's passing on through that sheets, you pass it through there, and it disinfects. You are sending out the material to your client, pass it through, your material is disinfected, and you can say, okay, my products are virus free. So that is the biggest advantage you have. So this is all from my side. Now I would like to introduce printers, and so that they speak about how they have grown their business with UV LED.
Would like to invite Mr. Vijay Lakha.
अभी नहीं है.
Mute करो. So, Mr. Vijay, are you there?
No, he's not there.
Okay. So, would you like? Can I invite Dr. Raghav, please? Yeah, Mr. Raghav,
Hi.
can you switch on your video also?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Good
sir.
afternoon. Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon, audience. And it's a great pleasure to me to introduce myself with respect to LED, what Sigwork is doing, what Sigwork portfolio is having with respect to LED. And Mr. Abhishek has explained more detail about the LED. It's a technical aspect in terms of working principle and how it is different compared to UV, conventional UV. So what the takeaway from that is, LED printing is having following advantage. It is this energy efficient, which Abhishek has explained in detail, and it is also lamp lifetime is much
Raghav,
higher.
your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking.
Did you? Yeah, is so lifetime of the lamp is still I don't know. Am I audible now properly?
Wi-Fi issue.
Looks like. Can I switch off my video? Maybe then quality may. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's I think it's a speed of Wi-Fi. So
Yeah.
as Abhishek mentioned,
It's
so
better.
advantage. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Abhishek has mentioned advantage of using LED inks and coatings, or let's say LED setup is following. That's a energy efficient. LED setup is more efficient in terms of the energy, and also if you look the lamp lifetime, so lifetime of the lamp is much higher compared to mercury lamps. It's environment friendly, instant startup. So what does it mean, the instant startup? If for due to any reason, if machine stops and conventional UV setup takes 15 to 20 minutes to ignite the lamp to come into the work. While in LED, if machine stops, then immediately you switch on, then you are able to print your materials. So that's an initial instant startup. And due to that kind of things, and also the LED inks, it is having high color strength and other property printing advantages are here. Therefore, our converters are able to get the higher productivity and less wastage. Maybe I can share you my screen where a small, write-up is there with respect to complete product portfolio of LED. Sigwo, can I share it? Let me try to share it.
Go ahead, Dr. Saab.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
No, screen, I can't see your screen.
I said it's showing to me. Still not.
Your screen is not visible because your camera is, I think, off. That's the reason.
Okay. Let me try to. Sorry for this.
Yeah, it's okay.
Is it visible now?
It's visible.
Okay. Thank you. In terms of inks and coatings, if you compare traditional UV offset inks and LED, then you can see. So there are highlights and limitations of both the chemistries, or let's say both the ink systems. If I talk about the conventional offset inks, uh, let's say Sigwork as well as our other friends, our competition, all have the complete range of product basket, and this technology it fit for purpose portfolio and optimize product performance. Uh, Now the PI compliance solution as per UPI guidelines, Sigwal to follow that. Maybe you people or maybe our valued customers might be aware about the new guidelines of UPI, which has been in that guidelines. Many photo initiators has been banned. So or anyway, so it is mainly so let's say this regulation is applicable for Europe, but if anything is applicable in Europe, then it is also applicable in other regions as well. Since the brand owners like Nestle, Ferrero, and HUL, Unilever, they are not only in Europe, so they are widely spread everywhere. So everyone has to yeah, follow the same regulatory compliances as it is followed in Europe or US. So Sigma portfolio is having complete PI compliance portfolio. If you look about the limitation of traditional UV offset, so performance limitation on high speed presses more than 12,000 impression per hour for heavy coverage job. I'm talking here about the heavy coverage job, not the normal jobs. So heavy coverage job, it is really difficult to perform or to run the presses more than 12,000 speed. Narrow performance window display the better performance on European presses, but sometimes performance on Komori is not as robust as it is, on other machines. So it is having, I would say the UV technology which is available in India, not only with Silver, this is my experience, even our valued competitions, they also have sometimes performance issue on let's say Komori machines sometimes. But what is the solution for that? If you move from traditional UV to LED, Sigwork have complete range of product portfolio, and it is suitable for different kind of the substrate. I would say the conventional UV, if it is meeting, let's say, 10 types of the substrate in terms of the printability, LED is even having more acceptance of the substrate qualities. A wider performance window, due to using the different grade of the oligo or monomers and photo initiator cocktail, these inks allow to perform on wider window of ink water balance. So ink water balance is main criteria to perform, to ensure the performance of any ink on the press. So the LED inks are having the better ink water balance compared to conventional UV inks. If I talk to about the limitation of LED inks, I would say it is slightly higher in cost compared to traditional UV inks. I'm using the slightly higher word. Maybe in if you compare kg by kg, it maybe you may feel it's expensive, but if you compare the performance of LED inks with traditional UV inks, then in my coming slide you can see the mileage of LED inks is 15 to 20% higher compared to traditional UV ink. That is the one biggest advantage of using LED. Second thing is the wastage of LED. If you use the LED inks, is much lower than conventional UV inks. So second thing is the in terms of the limitation part is still there is a, I would say, limitation in coating parts. People are having the coatings curable in LED technology, but still there is some challenges are there. So okay, but everybody is working on it, and I don't think the day is far when the people will come up, very good or robust technology in UV, sorry, in LED OPV. So I can share you, as I mentioned you, we have the complete range of LED inks and coatings as well for packaging. It is not only for commercial printing. You can see on the top there is a process color set. If you see on the bottom, then this is the complete range of the base colors which are capable to produce most of Pantone colors. So I would say Sigwork is having complete range of LED inks and coatings to meet packaging requirement. So yeah, then if I come to next slide. So I think Abhishek has talked a lot about this. Why LED is so why Secura is smart. So our LED is named as Secura is smart. There are three main factors which is advantage having the advantage using LED inks. One is energy cost. There is definitely is reduction in energy cost, environment friendly, and third one is the improvement in the quality. So improvement in the quality means you can see this curve where you can see the difference between LED and conventional UV inks. So if you see image definitions, so image definitions is described by mainly by the dot gains. So dot gain of LED inks are much sharp, much lower than the conventional UV, and it is much sharper. If you see the printability, the transfer of LED inks roller to roller is much better than the conventional UV inks, and it is having the much better flow compared to conventional UV inks. So therefore, the blanket piling and blanket buildup will not be there. It is having the advantage on the blanket piling issues. If you see the mechanical resistance, I would say the mechanical resistance is better than the conventional UV inks. It is having a better scratch and better rub resistance. And if you see the color strength is, as I mentioned, as I described in previously, it is 15 to 20% higher as compared to conventional UV inks. Yeah. So yeah, this is all from my side from the product point of view. Most of the things Abhishek has covered in his presentation. I am open to answer of audience if they have any question with respect to inks and coatings of LED inks.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sab. It was really a eye-opening presentation and very, knowledgeable. There were some hitch in the market, there were some myths in the market, I think you try to resolve those. Still, our printer fellows have a lot of questions. They may have some, one-to-one interaction they want to do. So what I will do, they are putting their questions on the YouTube, because we are live on the YouTube, Facebook, and the StreamYard on our website. So we are live on the 4 areas. So they are putting their questions on those platforms, and I will pass on you those questions, because this is not an interactive webinar. So you have to, answer them personally, or I will give you a phone number if you permit. So I will give you a phone number so they can have some question answer session with you. So I think you will help India to, think more about LED UV. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
sure.
So, yeah. So I would like to
Sure.
invite Mr. Sangam Khanna. So he is having a lot of profile. Right now, he's handling Kumori India. And as I told you in the early speech, that every printer knows him. He's the person who has shifted the mind of the printers to putting new machines in. Before Mr. Sangam Khanna's initiative, our Indian people were used to buy a second-hand machine. But he is the person who changed the mind, and now all the printers are, enjoying that facility, and they are doing the printing quality which is at par with the international standards. Mr. Khanna, over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope all of you are safe during the COVID-19 at your places. And I must thank Dr. Raghav. And Dr. Raghav, you can switch on your speaker, because I'll be asking you a few questions which I'm getting from the rest of my some of the customers online who called me up. Anyway, so to address LED during the COVID, of course, as situations when we see every difficult situation brings us to a new opening. One door closes, 10 open. So I look at this as an opportunity for all of us to understand that how we can exploit this situation in our favor. From a business point of view, I think most of you are either business owners or key decision makers in your organizations. So when we look at the LED as a technology, when it started off, maybe 2008, when we first saw it, after that has evolved over the last almost 10, 12 years. But when we look at the LED today, it is not what it was. However, number of manufacturers have gone substantially very large. The output or the limitations of LED have also improved, because when we started in 2008, the clearance which was available was only 20 mm. Then it became 30, 40. Today it's very large. So it can go up to, a certain manufacturer can go up to 180 mm clearance. That's huge. I don't think anybody requires that, because there's not so much of space in a press. But however, when we look at from Kumori point of view, I'd like to address a few things. Of course, Dr. Raghav has talked about availability of inks and new technologies available on inks. One thing which I want to bring to all of you is that when you are buying an equipment, especially a used equipment, be very, very careful in when you are buying an equipment, because you come and give it to a LED or a UV supplier, please install. But the problem does not finish there. That is the beginning of the end of the problem. What happens is, when we give it a press which is not UV ready. Now, when it is UV ready, it means LED, UV, HUV, whatever. UV is UV. What happens is, once we give the press to the manufacturer, of the UV system, the problem starts from there. Because the press is not ready, so the press does not is not UV resistant, because UV has a tendency to corrode. Because UV, the photo initiators, the vehicles carrying in the ink also corrode. So the ozone, of course, LED may not have ozone, but the photo initiators and the chemicals which are there in the ink will definitely corrode the press. So even the UV oil seals are not there. So it has a tendency to start cutting. So once it starts cutting, the press edge starts to get shorter. Once it starts getting shorter, the problem starts and it keeps getting bigger. I know of a customer of mine, when he installed the LED or the UV system, the press wasn't ready, and it was a brand new press. And I told him that I'll not name him. I told him that, look here, please don't, your press is not UV ready. He says, no, but ठीक है, my UV guy will take care of it. It's printing well. I said, okay, fine, go ahead. 1 week later, he gives me a call to say my rollers are gone, and about a year later, he tells me that the oil is leaking. So what happens is, in the interest of your investment, because whatever you invest on, you have to be very sure that what you are installing, the base should be UV ready. So this is a very important thing which I want you to take away today, that when you're buying a used equipment even, ensure that it should be a UV ready equipment. Of course, today LED UV is very well established in the commercial printing in India. Nobody has a doubt that in commercial printing, not only in India, all over the world, is running very, very successfully. And I don't think anybody has issues in commercial print. However, limitations to packaging are still there. As Dr. Raghav said, cost of equipment, cost of inks, availability of raw material, availability of, when we say different types of coatings, and of course, we are sitting in an industry of ever-reducing margins. And this ever-reducing margins, I think most of you will agree with me, have issues which directly affect our balance sheet. And how to maximize from here is something which I would like to take it to the next webinar or whenever you are having this, because that's a different chapter altogether for me to address. But what I see is that inks play a very, very big role in this. And once we look at the performance of the LED, it's been very, very well recognized. And most of the packaging suppliers like Komori, Heidelberg, KVA, they've shifted their focus on looking at LED as an option, because environmental issues, China, most of the supplies have, the Chinese government has said that they'd like to go in for HUV or LED equipment only. So UV is a limitation for even Chinese, who are the world's biggest factory. However, I still feel that there is a lot of room for us to grow in LED. I haven't been to the APL factory for long enough to see how well they are doing, but I'll definitely like to visit along with our technical team. But of late, I've seen that they've been installing a lot of LED systems on some of our customers, and they've been doing very well. However, when we see that the new technologies on LED, especially with a multi-wavelength, as Abhishek said, multi-wavelength lamps. I've yet to see the performance of them because I've not been in the field myself for long. This could be one of the new ways of handling the packaging solutions. So I must thank Mr. Raghav, Mr. Paul, for giving me the opportunity to speak here. And if there is any questions any one of you have, you can text me, or you can put it up on the site. I'll be more than happy to answer. I'm still live. Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Khanna sir. Thank you so much. For me, the takeaway from Sangam sir, the speak is the China. They are one of the biggest player in printing industry, and they are switching from conventional UV to LED UV or HUV. Believe me, HUV and LED UV, there is a very thin line of difference in both of technology. But yes, they are very close. HUV is also working on the low heat and low power. Same LED is also working on the same areas. So in Europe also, when I visited Europe, so people are totally shifting from conventional UV to LEUV, HUV, LED UV. There are different kind of technologies. So the answer is yes, we have to shift from high power to low power, because one press of UV conventional produce 12 ton of carbon dioxide, which is very harmful for the
I would like to give a small slide presentation, which just one slide for everybody to understand. Okay.
Sure.
So I hope you can all see this slide. If you
Share your
see,
screen.
yeah, I've shared my
Share your screen.
screen.
Share your screen, sir.
Okay, can you see? Can you see this? Hello, is it? Can you see it? Also दिख रहा है? So, having said so, when we were to compare the power consumption, when we were to compare the power consumption between a UV, HUV and LED, which we in Kumori we call it as HUVL, okay? So 661.5 versus 268 versus 84. So when we compare this on a scale, this is approximately 68%, 68.5% reduction of power from a UV and 87% power reduction in case of a LED, or which we call it in Kumori as a LUV. So the sharing of the power consumption is substantial in case of a LED. So LED definitely is a very good way of producing, provided the suppliers can support us with cheaper chemicals and cheaper inks. However, the struggle for sustainable and good quality material is still on. Of course, the large players like Sigwork are always there, and Mr. Raghav has been very helpful in educating the rest of the world in India. Of course, even when we see the Komori digital, we use the IS-29 with the LED UV system. Anyway, any questions? I'm more than willing to reply to anybody. Anything else, Mr. Paul, you'd like to ask? No?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. As we are running with short of time, so we'll take all the question answers offline. So now I would like to invite Mr. Mehul. Mr. Mehul Mishra.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon to the audience.
Good afternoon, Mehul ji.
Sir, how are you?
I'm good. So people are, waiting to listen you.
Sure, sir.
Go ahead.
My name is Mehul Mishra.
Share your experience of your LED UV with the people.
Right. So we started MediPrints at around 2018. When we started...
Speak little louder.
Okay, sure. When we started MediPrints, it was an idea to cater medical industry and serve them with PP files that we do. So we had to decide whether we have to go with UV or with LED. So we listed out the pros and cons of all those as suggested by Mr. Paul sir, Abhishek ji. And when we listed down, there were a lot of things that were against UV and was with LED. The only drawback that LED had is the power. The only drawback that LED had was the costing thing. But as suggested by Dr. Raghavan, it has more mileage as compared to UV. So we got the break even as compared to UV. Earlier we had UV fitted on our press. We changed it to LED, and now we are happy. Thank you.
So how is your experience with LED UV? Like the things which you cannot print earlier with LED UV, are you able to print now?
We wanted to print on a substrate, PP substrate. So now we are able to print on that, and we are getting good results with that. The quality is good, and also we can run the press on 9,000 to 10,000 sheets per hour. So yeah, we are getting very comfortable with it. Right?
Very good. So if it is not LED UV, so how are you doing the printing on the plastic sheets?
We had conventional UV fitted on it. So
okay.
It had lot of power consumption. Our machine used 50 kilowatt power and 50 kilowatt for the UV. So you required around 100 kilowatt power to run the entire press. But now we are running the press with 50 to 55 kilowatt. So that is a huge difference in terms of power consumption. In terms of mileage, we got a very good mileage with LED inks. We are getting around 20%, 15-20% more as compared to the UV inks. So that is a good plus point to us. Yeah.
So you are validating Abhishek's presentation as well as Dr. Raghav's presentation. Abhishek said that you can save huge power. So you are saying that 50% power you are saying and saving. And on the other hand, Mr. Raghav said that the mileage will be 15 to 20% more in LED inks as compared to UV. So you are validating both the points.
Yes, I validate both the points. Apart from that, the only concern that we are getting, there are always two sides of the coin. So the only concern that we are getting is that we are getting coatings at a very high price. But I'm sure that within when LED users will grow in the country, we'll get the coatings at a very convincing price.
Yeah. So Mehulji, you are an example for the whole country that sitting despite of a small city like Raipur, and you are putting LED, and now you are doing a wonderful job. I have seen your jobs through Abhishek because unfortunately I couldn't visit Raipur, but I've seen your jobs. and
They're always been
those
IT.
jobs was fascinating, and it was really amazing that you were printing on the hospital files, on the plastic sheets, on the PP covers. I have seen those jobs. Maybe Abhishek is bringing those jobs to me. I can show to the public also. And
So
sitting
I
in
have
a
the samples
Raipur
with me.
city, can you
Yeah.
show the samples, please?
Yeah, I can show you samples.
Yeah, please.
These are
Wow.
the
So this is a
samples that we
hospital
have.
file.
Yeah, we are printing these files. Apart from that, we are also printing labels for the packaging industry. We are printing labels for rice bags as required by the rice mills over here. There are a lot of rice mills in the Raipur area. So you need to just find the product through which you can grow your business.
Correct.
Mainly earlier what we used to do was a service-based industry. Now we are shifted to a product-based industry. So we are getting good results and we are feeling positive about it. Yeah, sure. Sir.
Yeah. Great. So Mehulji, one more question, that in Corona, so people are thinking that to reduce down their working hours from 16 hours to 8 hours. Now,
Right.
for you in this after Corona or during Corona, so how do you feel that how much business you will lose, or you will same at the same level, or you will grow? It's a fair question, so you can answer very fairly.
Uh, Frankly speaking, sir, LED UV printing or LED UV printing is a time consuming process. So you have to get you take around 1.5 and 2 hours to take your machine to be ready, and in those 6 hours you cannot get the break even. So I don't personally feel that 8 hours working is recommended, because in that way we will not be able to get the break even with all the presses and all the investment we had. So yeah.
Great, great. So hope this LED system, as you said, that our tagline is today, grow your business with LED UV. It will helping you a lot in future also.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
And hope so. Yeah, you will plan for the next LED very soon.
Very soon, sir. Very soon.
Thank you so much, Mehulji, taking up your precious time and coming up with open up with the public. And if
Yeah.
somebody will have some questions, we will pass on to you, and then you may answer those questions.
I'm ready to. I don't want people to face the problem that I have faced. I want to distribute the knowledge that I have. Thank you, sir.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
So this is Mohel Mishra ji from Raipur, and he has installed this LED UV last year, and now he is doing this PP jobs, PP printing, hospital files, whatever he's doing, he's showing. He's ready to answer your technical questions, and if you people have some questions, mail him directly, ask him directly, or through us, we are ready to help you out. Okay, now here, because the time is going short, so our next speaker is Mr. Vijay Lakha, Infinity Advertising. So, Vijay, are you online?
Yeah, I'm very much here. Is my voice audible?
Yes, perfectly all right.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So,
Good afternoon, Ji.
and thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for inviting me. Thank you to Dr. Raghav, Sangam Khanna. It was really nice to hear you, and thank you, Mehulji, also. Um, would you like to ask some questions, or should I? What do you want me to? Uh,
So, yes, before you go on, so I have two questions. One, you are the second LED user in the country, first LED user in the packaging segment in the country.
Right.
You installed this LED way back in 2015 and 2016 starting.
Right.
And you opened up your press in for the public also. So
Right.
we really have that gratitude for you till today for the same. My
Thank
question is, you were the amongst of the few printers who spent more than 1 crore rupee for one LED. Do you regret today that you have spent so much amount on that day? So do you have some regret in your mind?
Oh, to be very honest, yes, when I received this LED kit, the kind of amount you have charged versus what size of shipment came after paying a crore rupee, I was hoping I have to get two big cranes to install it. And finally, a small courier came in. So, yes, I was regretting that time. But honestly, yes, it was a strategic decision that we thought this is the right time to enter. Why? Because that time there was no competition, and we were having some opportunities which we were losing continuously, and we wanted to encash that. To be very honest, after paying such a huge amount, also we recovered the costs of investment in a span of 6 months.
Wow,
So
great.
now I don't regret. But yes, by seeing the minuscule size of that LED, I was regretting, to be very honest.
Okay. So my another question is because you said that you had recovered your money in 6 months. So maybe some people are thinking that this may be, because you are a very old customer and maybe we have some good relationship. Maybe your answers are coming from that perspective or from that mind. So my question is, uh, can this coronavirus hit you badly, or you can help something your company with this LED UV?
To be very honest, Corona has hit everybody, same as my business. And honestly, for a few days, our mindset was like the moment all of the sudden stoppage happened, you get into a negative mode. And believe it, in this particular period, I think LED has actually helped me. Not LED, I would say only LED. I was able to coin some new ideas through this LED. Like you must have seen the face shields. Our company ventured into the COVID solutions. We started printing those shields. The product which we are getting from China always used to have the printed one. And what we were doing in India was we were pasting labels. So instead of pasting labels, we converted it. And believe it, in this COVID period, we have done more than 25 lakh plus face shields. So
Wow.
even for N95 masks, there is a new company who has launched Indian N95 masks. We created a MedPet box. So that's the only differentiator in the market. You get 100 such brands coming from China or 3M and other. The packaging is absolutely different. If I talk about that N95 mask company. So in COVID period, I was getting a lot of opportunities, lot of plastic packaging options we were creating. Though we have created a few more ideas which are yet to be sold, but we were able to create those thoughts. So those are primarily transparent boxes which we have created, but somehow we couldn't sell those ideas at this moment. But we are still trying hard to get that kind of clients.
Okay, great. So I was hearing from the government itself that earlier, before this COVID, so there was a drive going on, the no use of plastic or less use of plastic or the single-use plastic ban. So now, as this COVID hit us badly, now the government is not putting the pressure over there because the masks which are made by non-woven fabric is also plastic. The sheet which you are talking about, the other PP sheet, PP kit, which is a personal protective equipment, is also made by a PP plastic. So the government is not giving a pressure on this. So my question is, the this COVID-19. So do you think that with the help of LED, all the other printers can do some good business on the plastic surface with this LED? Or what is the message for the printer? Because we are running short of time. It's 1:05 already. So your message to printers regarding to the plastic printing.
Look, initially I was also hearing these news, but if you understand this plastic information, what is coming is it's primarily a ban on single-use product, right? If you are creating multi-use, like the kind of stationery, file folders, Mehulji was showing doctor file folders, where the application is to use it for longer purposes. Use and throw things are getting banned. It's not because the moment you see plastic is getting banned, you come across a thought ki, we won't be there is no need to print plastics, right? The business of plastic will come down. But honestly, I am observing India imports majority of its stationery from China, and it's a very good time for us to convert those opportunity out here in India. So plastic, to be very honest, yes, as an organization, we also feel socially responsible, and we don't want to use much of the plastic. But if we start creating products which can actually, these plastics actually helps in reducing down the multiple wastages. So any files, stationery products, plus the kind of versatility as a printer one gets. To be very honest, I was getting a lot of opportunity to print baby books, which should be waterproof. I was able to do with it. A lot of banners, advertising banners, which are required. I am able to do it. So be it PP, PET, PET, PVC, anything, any substrate, foam, it's not a challenge. So you increase your portfolio that way. So I don't think this, except for the single-use plastic application, rest all will continue for some more time.
Yeah. So very good. One takeaway which I got from you is that if you restrict the Chinese import and you create your own products which were coming from the China and create your own product which is multiple use of plastic, can do wonders and give a new theme to the printer's body. Now, as you install the second LED also on your 612 plus coater, and you are planning for another LED also, that I know, and that's why we treat you as one of the biggest customer. So one of your message, our last message to the printers, that why you are going such a big numbers of LED for every machine?
To be very honest, Mr. Paul, I am actually not very technical person. I don't understand printing so well, but I understand the business well. I started investing with Comrie. Comrie is my favorite brand, and now we have 3 brand new Comries plus 1 Heidelberg machine. I wanted a solution which is a plug and play. I wanted very comfort. It should work like a mobile. So LED, I found it. I have been to Japan, a lot of European countries. I have studied conventional UV, LED, HUV, LEUV. Everywhere I have, before buying, I have visited many countries. I have tried studying it. I found LED to be the most simplest. So my why I picked up, because of its simplicity. I would say second biggest reason for me was the versatility I can increase. From paper to getting into MetPad, to foam, banner, files, plastic pad, PVC, doing some creation of new products. And I tell you, it gives me more versatility in terms of doing R&D. We were able to create some new ideas which were very, very effective for product launches. Like my company works for Coca-Cola, and we have been awarded for creating some new innovation which was done through this LED. And third, there are a few more reasons. I don't want to occupy space, because conventional UV, you require a lot of chillers, a lot of pipelines, a lot of water flowing in, a lot of air conditioning coming in, a lot of heat. Fire was the biggest fear in my mind, because printing itself is vulnerable. Whatever chemical chemistry or raw materials we use, everything is fire prone. Be it paper, be it your chemicals, anything, everything is fire prone. So plus cost of the power, every penny counts in the total cost. Initially we faced challenges in terms of ink, because I installed way back 4-5 years back. Ink was a big challenge. Except Toyo, there was no options. Today Sigwork is here. They have reduced on their costing very well, and there are multiple more players also. So now challenges have come down, except one negative, which few I don't know who spoke. The cost of coating, which is still higher. So it's not very viable at this moment, except for coating. If it's a plain coating, then still it has become viable. But if you talk about hybrid, it's still not very viable. So except that, I think everything, it's very easy. I have 3 printing machines. For me, I put it one day on one machine, second on another machine, third day on another machine. So it's so handy, weighing I think not more than 10-12 kg. Anybody can move it anywhere. So for me, every machine is a UV machine.
Oh, great. I think you have given a lot of wisdom to the people, to the printers, why everybody or anybody has to go for the LED UV. I thank you very much, Vijayji, to sharing your experience. And there will be a lot of questions. Maybe we have to answer them offline. I will send you those questions, or people you may directly connect with Mr. Vijayji. I will put all those details of every speaker on your email, on your WhatsApp, so that you can have one-to-one interaction, or your questions, or the questions which you can ask not in front of us. You can ask all those people that will be there. Now, because it's 111, so with the folded hand, there was so much technical hitches. There were some issues. The people were saying that please speak in Hindi, but I am looking here on my screen that people has joined from Iran, Egypt. I can see 3 people from Nigeria, Dubai, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So because of those fraternity, we are bound to be speak in English. We will definitely help you out. The people who want to be Hindi, maybe we will interact with them one-to-one, and you can ask your questions in Hindi to the speakers. These speakers are, they have given their valuable time in this COVID-19, and they were spending time either with family or with their own work, but still they have come out with the precious time. So I thank you, Mr. Sangam Khanna, Dr. Raghav, Mr. Mehul Mishra ji, Vijay ji, all those speakers who has given time, the people who have come across the world to listen this webinar. I am thankful to them also. Thank you so much. APL is committed to give you more knowledge, more informations, more webinars in future. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.